Everybody loves Raymond 360 Live Sunday. Hello, everybody. Welcome. An exciting time today. We are telling our followers that we are live. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello. Cousins, hello. Hello, Gil. How are you? Hello, Noah. I am live. I'm so excited to be joined today by the real Alex. Let's see. All right, Alex, if you are watching, you have to be on your phone on Instagram. Great. This is going to be a great time. We had a great visit last time with Stefania, and this time it will be just as good. Let me ask as many questions as I can from you guys. Hello, Toronto. Hello, Leo. Hello, everybody. I'm multitasking. That's why I'm a little bit distracted. Oh. This could be an important phone call for me. This is the beauty of live. Hello, Alex. Do you see in the upper left-hand corner, you see a picture of Patricia Heaton? Does it say live? Okay, so then restart. You're going to have to restart Instagram because every once in a while it doesn't show up. So either restart your phone or just restart Instagram and it'll pop up and say live. And you're on a phone on Instagram, not on a computer. Great. Yeah, just restart it and give it and it should pop up when you come back on. All right. Call me back if you have any problems. We're all excited for you to join. All right. Bye. All right, so there you go. For those of you who are doing Instagram Live, sometimes it doesn't show up. All right, let's answer a few questions here. Hello, I've said hello to Gil. Yes, good to see you guys. Hello, Wendell Poons. Good to see everybody talking to each other within the comments. Now, if you saw Stefania, Alex Meneses last time, you saw how much fun we had. And for those of you that have never joined here, this is Tom Cultiviano. I was a writer on Everyone's Raymond for all 9 years. I took 30,000 behind-the-scenes photos. Those photos were used for a book called Our Family Album, Everyone's Raymond, Our Family Album. I do this little podcast / interview / Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, every type of outlet. Interviews to try and tell the story of Everybody Loves Raymond from top to bottom. Everybody who was involved in the show in any way, from Phil Rosenthal, who was the creator of the show, to Larry, who was our craft services, which is another word for chef, etc. And that's why, if you look back, you will know the story of Everybody Loves Raymond and everybody that took part in Everybody Loves Raymond. Yes, okay. And today we will be talking to Alex Meneses. Every other week, I try to have a guest. Whoa. Hello, Alex.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
Good. By the way, it's not, I'm going to plug in my mic in a second, but it's not unusual for that to happen. Oh. So yeah. So I'm just greeting all the fans saying hi.
Hi.
You're a fan favorite, so
Aww.
Yes. So let me say
hi, Honey Dip. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Noel. Love you. Aw.
So yeah, one of the comments is gorgeous. That's probably not for me. Let me see.
That's for your baby.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for joining again. I was looking back. When do you think you were here last? Do you remember?
Was it a year ago?
It was October It was for the multiple myeloma, and also
Yes.
you were, and The Wall.
And The Wall, yeah, The Wall had just come out. The film that I did in Mexico just came out, and we were on pay-per-view for about a minute, and it's a cool film. Nothing happened, you know.
Yes.
Welcome to Hollywood.
Now, Alex, just because again we're probably going to run out of time, and if you have anytime you have to jump,
are we done already? Did it take me that long to get on, Tom? I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Well, here I'm going to say the record was Larry from Craft Services. He took 36 minutes to join the 1 hour podcast. So, but I have no. The problem is, Alex, when you're entertaining and you've been in a lot of episodes, the time goes quickly. So last time we went through the whole process of being cast, and the funniest thing to me in looking back was there was a comment you said, which is correct from your position, where you go, why are they calling me back so many times for a guest spot? Yeah. It's not like I'm a recurring character. And you said one of the things as a kind of joke, but you never know, does this guy, Phil Rosenthal, who's the creator, does he like me maybe? Which occurs in Hollywood all too often. But knowing Phil Rosenthal.
What do you mean, like me, like me?
Yeah. You were saying that because it didn't make sense. And I agreed from the outside. You don't bring back an actress, a whole bunch of times for such a small part. And unfortunately, you hit it out of the park, and we try to use you as much as possible. Well, that's I'm speaking for the fans also. So
I didn't really think of it like that. I wasn't getting that from Phil. Did it come across like that?
It was a thought. No, it didn't come, but it was a thought when you watch it. The funny thing is, you and I, knowing Phil, how nerdy and nice and not that, right? It's comical,
Never.
but
Never
people
in a million years.
Yeah, but people, what's funny is people don't know that. We know that when you say that's like whenever I hear an interview where something has happened on the news.
Thank you, Mary.
And you want to talk to the neighbor and say, what was this person really like? You want to hear them go, oh, they were crazy. Of course this happened. They were crazy. But you always hear never these real, ad lib, candid moments with people. So, Alex,
yes.
We're going to get to what you're doing now. But when we last left off, we barely got into your role as Stefania. Because we heard about your modeling. It was a great interview. We heard about your modeling career. We heard about your transition into acting. And then we kind of got to into Everrose Raymond, but we ended up using you in a lot of episodes because you scored so big. And this is for people that are just watching who are like, how does the show work? The head writer, so Phil Rosenthal has to decide, okay, we have this part for Stefania. We know that we want Robert to get married. But if Stefania hits a home run and scores laughs because it's a comedy, so that's all we care about. So if Alex Meneses is not good, you don't see her again. She serves her purpose and that's it. But because you scored so many laughs, that's why you kept coming back. And that's true with many.
Thank you.
But that's why I'm talking now a little bit about writing. People I know sometimes are like, hey, I wrote a pilot and we wrote 12 other episodes after the pilot. And you go, well, here's what happens on a pilot. You find out strengths and weaknesses of the actors and you write to those actors for episode 2 and episode 3. And so for you, right, now we're back to you're on Everrose Raymond. You're in the Italy episode.
Yes.
Did you?
Memories.
Yeah. By the way, did you know, because Phil's mentioned it in press, did you know that Italy episode really was the genesis of his Somebody Feed Phil series?
Was it? Well, he's always been a foodie. He's always been a foodie. But were you with us on that trip? No, you weren't.
No. Only Lou Schneider. One writer was. One of the writers went.
That's right. But Phil was so intrigued by the whole, I mean, culture and of course, so you can see it in the writing, you guys, and Ray, and uh, just, it was a fantastic experience. But he was so intrigued by the culture, the food, the people, that honestly, it was like we tried a different restaurant every night. And
Yes.
we were like going into the mountains because they had the best boar ragu, and then we were going to some restaurant down in a pit because it was La Cava, and it was extraordinary.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I could see that.
Well,
I could see that.
so Phil's production company is called Where's Lunch,
Right.
but the transformation of Ray
Wait a
Romano.
minute. Wait, I have to say something. Oh, I should have
Yes.
brought it. I'll bring it next time. I still have my T-shirt that says "Dove il pranzo," which means where's lunch in Italian.
Yeah, yeah.
That T-shirt.
Phil made that. Phil made you a custom T-shirt, huh? Didn't make it for us. Interesting.
Well, a lot of people got them.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what happened was Phil was always obsessed with
So good. Ice cream is so good there.
with food. So Phil was always obsessed with food, but he didn't have money to have great experiences. I'm talking about he would save for a year to have one good dinner way back before it was Raymond.
Early on.
So early on in his career, when
Tom,
he didn't
I
have
to
any
say
money.
something.
Yes, go ahead.
All I can see now in our interview are glasses.
You and I look like a glasses ad.
We're just like the glasses ad. Sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So by the way, I feel bad because the comments, know this, Alex.
Yes.
The comments disappear after this live. So when people watch it on the replay, which is when most people watch this, they will be able to see your face. Right now.
Oh, that's okay. I see my face every day. I like looking at the comments.
Yeah. Well, the people want to see it. So Phil would save up entire time, a year to have an expensive meal. Then his production company was called Where's Lunch. But the transformation of Ray Romano in real life in the Italy episode and the transformation of Ray Barone in the episode kicked Phil into, you know what, this could be a thing. So that's what I mean. So yeah.
It was real because I remember Ray talking about wanting to go to New Jersey for his vacation, which is fine. New Jersey's fabulous. I like
the Jersey Shore. The Jersey Shore, yeah.
Not in Italy, yeah, it's okay. It's nice, the showers and toilets are cut holes in the floor sometimes. Not all the time, not anymore so much. But
yes.
And he was transformed.
Yeah. And
it was a very special time.
Yes.
There, Tom.
Someone has to write the other episodes. Well, you guys are eating gelato. Somebody has to be locked in a room writing episodes and looking out and going, I wonder what it's like on the outside of this building, let alone. Okay, here we go. I'm going to we're going to hit some questions because they will go away before we get deeper. Hello. Yes. Leo. Hello from Toronto. Hello.
Chicago, where are you from? I was born and raised around Midway Airport. Railroad tracks and factories.
By the way, one of our biggest fans, Teresa, is in Chicago, and her family has an old Italian restaurant there, which you have to promise to visit.
What? Let me write it down. Hold on. Where's my pen? Teresa, I'm coming to your restaurant. Okay. What's it called?
It's called Trofano's.
I've been at Trofano's.
Don't tell lies on camera, Alex.
I've been to Trofano's. I even know where it is. It's right off Ashland. I've been there 100 times.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So now let me scroll. I'm scrolling through these questions to try and catch up. Now you must say hello to when you're there to Teresa and her brother and her whole family. So yeah, you were in. Teresa's saying you were in Chicago a few weeks ago. Is that true?
I was. Tufanos. It is not Tufanos. It's Tufanos, right? Tufanos. Vero. Not Tufanos. Tufanos.
Yes, Vero. I was just going by memory.
About Tufanos?
Yes.
They only accept cash. Can I tell you something else about Tufanos? What its history is? Cops eat there a lot. The policemen, and you know who else eats there a lot?
Italians. Alex, here's a comment. Alex is the nicest human being on this earth. And that is from Kolsch Soul. Yes.
Well, thank you for that. Not
Yes,
always.
yes.
Not always. But I try to.
Now, I'm just scrolling through because I'm trying to filter out any of the, let me see, you, with this first thing, they can't be, yeah. Well, this is an interesting comment from Terry L. Yorkie the second, or Two Eyes. You kept coming back because of that special thing that can't be predicted. Absolutely. Marco Fogagnolo is watching you. Yes. Let's just talk.
Fogagnolo.
Have you now, Alex? Have you seen David Preval since the series?
I haven't. And you know what? He's the nicest man alive. But he lives down like in Redondo Beach or something, doesn't he? He lives a little bit. So
here's the interesting thing. I have not seen him at all. And I would love to talk to him on here. And people were like, Tom, he's on Instagram. Because, Alex, one of the problems, the great thing about Instagram is we're reaching around the world.
Right.
The problem is a lot of people in our group of actors, et cetera, like let's say someone called Ray Romano, are not on Instagram. And so you can't reach,
Wait
as much as...
Wait a minute. We had this discussion, Tom.
Yes.
Wait a minute. You told me that you were going to get Ray on Instagram.
He will not. No. I will get him to come on someone he knows Instagram account. Yeah. Ray will never do social media, ever. I have convinced him zero in 10 years to try and go on Instagram or any social media, because if nothing else, to promote his live shows. So Ray does stand up, just like Brad Garrett does stand up at his club called Brad Garrett's and other clubs in Vegas. I think he's there a few times in August.
I did not pick my clothes on the show. They picked it for me.
Yes. Let me see. Okay, Teresa, yes. What area? I'm scrolling down. Alex, jump in with any questions. Wow, there's a lot of questions here.
Yeah, I know. With any of the Raymond casts. Sometimes I used to, but now that I have my daughter, not so much. It's just that.
Yes.
And work. It's my kid and work. You know how it is, Tom.
Good morning. Yeah. Good morning from Australia. It's morning in Australia. Convince Ray to get on Instagram. Sorry, he's just not. And the last time, Ray peeked his head in because I was interviewing Brad. Only I had to go to Ray's house. By coincidence, Brad said, yeah, let me come on this date. By that date, Ray's like, why don't you come to my house? So I was like, okay. And then I was like, oh no, it's exactly at 2 p.m. And so Ray came into the room. He's like, what are you even, who are you talking to? Like, what is going on? And I'm like, we're just talking to Brad Garrett on Instagram Live. What? I don't even understand that. I don't even understand what and who are you talking to? So Ray doesn't, he doesn't grab it. So getting back to the David Preval, I will reach out to him, Alex. Okay. And if I can get him on Instagram Live, there's a chance, if you are free, you could pop in and say hello, because you can now have more than one guest at a time. Yes. Someone wants to know, Alex, if you are married.
I was married during Raymond, or right after Raymond. I was married for 10 years, a long time. And then it went through a terrible divorce. Oh my God. It was
we'll talk dirt off camera because we're trying to keep it friendly. So Teresa, yes. So Teresa's saying I'll get you Teresa's information, and you can. Her restaurant was just on the Food Network, so I'll get you. I know you've been there, but I'll get you her information. And the next time you're in Chicago, and by the way, I've literally the only 2 times I've been to Chicago is once with Ray. We were doing a tour, and we were in Aurora, Illinois, which I think is outside of.
Yeah, that's a little outside.
Yeah, there was a casino on the river. We did a theater, and then we went to a casino on a boat, I want to say.
Okay.
Which sounds weird. And then
Chicago, I guess that's like, it was like sort of farmland.
Yes. And it was one of those tours where you just fly in, you go to the gig, you get back, you go to the plane, and you're gone. So you literally see it from the air, which is not the way to see it. And then recently I went over the summer. When I say recently, in the last 7 years or something like that. So
why were you there over the summer?
Say again?
Why were you there? What, you just hanging out?
My friend, here,
spot.
I will tell you my my friend kept winning these trips. And my childhood friend I've known since he was 6 years old, since we're both 6, and he ends up getting divorced. And so he needs someone to go with him on all these trips. And I said to him, do you have someone else who can go on these trips? Not that I didn't want to go, but I was going everywhere with him.
Oh, you poor thing.
And so Chicago, well, eventually I'm trying to, he's like, Tom, you're the only one who has that interest in travel and also won't get punished for traveling with something like that. Okay, so this is for someone who didn't hear last time. The question is, and it's a legitimate question.
Hey.
Was the Italy episode of ELR the first time you went to Italy?
The first time I went to Italy. Oh, no. First time I went to Italy was 10 years before that. I actually lived in Italy for 2 years. And learned a lot of Italian and loved it dearly. I know Milan like the back of my hand. Well, I used to. I think it's probably changed.
Yes.
But I lived there. So
yes.
Going, and I love Italy. I loved it. Now, let me clarify though. I loved it. I wanted to live there for the rest of my life. The first month, the first week you're there, you're like gelato. Everyone is saying ciao and being nice. And I felt that way for a few weeks, few months, but then after about 3 or 4 months, I'm like, does anything get done? Can I get a photo printed in less than 4 weeks? I mean, I loved it, but I was so used to America and go like that, and convenience stores like 7-Eleven, you go out in the middle of the night for milk. I thought, you know what, I'm not going to live here, but I love Italy so much. And then when I got the chance, the honor, the blessing to work on the #1 show on television with, these award-winning actors and writers, and go to Italy for however long we were there and get paid for it. It was honestly still one of the best experiences of my life.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, and so I'm only because we knew you were a model and you lived in Italy, so your accent is not somebody who's never stepped foot on Italian soil and all of a sudden studied it phonetically. You have the ear for it because you also speak Spanish, correct?
Yes, and my father was from Mexico, and my grandparents were from Ukraine, and all my relatives. I've heard sort of accents my whole life. And I just have a love for them. And my dad worked at a very famous French restaurant in Chicago for 30 years. He was the maitre d' at Chez Paul, which is featured in the Blues Brothers film, by the way.
The original Blues Brothers film.
The original Blues Brothers film, yeah.
Yeah, which is awesome. By the way, you have to go to Chicago. When is the next? I know you will go, but when is it? So when you go to New York City in late September or early October, it's crisp. It's beautiful. And does Chicago have the parallel window to visit when it's not hot and humid and it's not minus 14 degrees?
Yes, it's around that time. I don't know. I always think of Chicago having hot summers, or hot Septembers, but September, October is a beautiful time. I would say May, because April sometimes we get snow showers. But the summer is gorgeous also. It's not that humid. I mean, yeah, I don't know what it is, Tom. Weather doesn't bother me. People are like, oh, it's so hot. It's so hot. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. It's hot. Or also, oh, it's freezing. How could you live in Chicago? You can go to Chicago. Yeah, you wear a coat and you dress appropriately.
Well,
I've never had a problem with any kind of weather. I don't know.
Can I put forth this theory? When you live in California, 99% of the time, like for us, I remember last year, it rained in May. Like my friends who are back in New Jersey and the East Coast, they're like, well, how often have you had rain? I said, we had rain in May, we had a touch in July, and then in November. So that's our rainy time. So for us, and I remember when Ray and I first moved out here, Kevin James' brother, Gary Valentine, stayed with us when Ray and I were sharing a place. And Kevin joined us also at the end of Raymond. Kevin James' brother goes, you know how you're on the East Coast and you say it's one of the top 10 days of the year? That's every day in Southern California. So when you're here, when this is your home base, I love going back to New York. I love when I've traveled the world a lot, like Seoul, Korea. It's free. I did a food show with Phil in Seoul, Korea. It's snowing and it's brittle, but I like it because 90% of the time I'm in perfect weather. What would get me on the East Coast would be end of February, beginning of March. It's just, it feels like it's never going to warm up.
You're done. Yeah, I get that too. I get that too. But I have to tell you, in telling my ex-husband not to text me or anything during this time, or he goes, okay, no, he's texting me. Okay, no problem. Okay, I won't. Okay. That's all right. So,
all right.
So what was I saying?
You were saying, I was saying how the end of February, the beginning of March, it just wears on you. It's like the ice on the road never, you know what I mean? It just feels like, and when it snows, it's not the January 1st snow. Not the Christmas snow. It's the slushy, like, come on, end already. Right. Alex, here's a question. I don't want to miss this.
Okay.
So was there a scene with anybody, but I'm going to assume Brad, where you had trouble keeping a straight face?
Oh, Brad, all the time. It's like it's almost like it's his job to crack you up, to make you break. It was all the time with Brad. He's just, and I just worked it into Stefani's character. Stefani was always laughing and charmed by him because I was always laughing and charmed by him.
Yeah.
I just had to make it a part of Stefani because I couldn't get away from it.
You could. But, yeah, no, you're a professional. I get it. And I think when people are watching it, and it is so funny, for people that have never been to a live filming, what the actors do, especially a guest actor, is they don't want to slow down the production. So when you're watching the film and you're going, oh my God, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. But there's a lot of weight on all the actors' on all the actors' shoulders. And especially if you're a guest actor, they don't want to go another take because Alex can't keep a straight face.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
So as much as you watch the bloopers and those are fun and you watch that, the director and Phil are sitting there going, let's go, because we have a live audience and we want to keep it fresh and we don't want people to get tired. So there is a certain thing. And when you see the cast can't help but crack up, like especially Patty is just like, I'm sorry. Okay. Or Brad, when they're like, I'm sorry, you'll see Brad going, I'm so sorry. I got this. And then he just loses it. And when you get into that thing where you're so tired or whatever it is that keeps you laughing, they know, you, the actor, know, like, oh, this is fun, but I know that there's people staring going,
right.
Yeah,
right.
It's 10,000 a minute. Yeah, 10,000 a minute as we sit here, guys, just so you know that. So was there even if it was all the time, was there, when you're in the apartment with Brad, when you have to throw your shirt at him and he's the whole transition, which I'll have you say it, I don't want to spoil it by saying your lines, but was there a moment when you're like, oh, this is so funny? Or even not during the filming, Alex, because you have the luxury, and I have to say, as a writer, you've been working on it for so long. You've heard it in the writer's room with Ray reading it, Phil reading your part, right? Phil's reading your part. So we know every joke that's coming. So for you, it's kind of a fun thing that you're reading, you don't even know what's coming. So when you get to that table read, how was that for you, that first time of seeing that come alive? The lines from Brad and interacting with you.
It's beautiful because, when you get it up on, when you're at a table read and you hear everyone's take on it, it's just, the writing was so wonderful, and everyone was so talented. I wish I could say something more interesting, but that's just what it was. And
well, here, I'm going to stop you a second. Don't name names. Have you been to a show where you do the table read and you're like, okay, these are courtesy laughs and...
Well, not on my lines, but...
Well, the show... Here, I went to a run-through. I won't tell you the name of the show, but I watched it and I was like, oh my God, I have to go through a run-through. It was on the Warner Brothers lot, and I'm like, this is not funny at all. And I want it to be funny. Like, I went to a taping of Friends, and I'm like, this cast is genius. Like, I was blown away by just the chemistry. And this was not that. And I was sitting there, and all during the run through, everyone's like, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, like laugh. And I was just like, yeah, because it's their job and the network's there. So of course they're going to be laughing. But I'm like, of course they're going to be laughing. But yeah, but you're looking around going, and and so it's hard. I know you're saying you wish it would be more interesting other than to say it was really funny and good. But when you've seen something bad, it's like, that's when you're like, oh my gosh, this is so, and unlike a drama, because I worked on a show that it got canceled. The premiere and cancellation was 6 days apart. So it was not a long-lived show. But before the first table,
so
yes, of course, yeah. But well, I was only a part-time consultant, but that's to distance me from the blame. But the before the first table read, we read through the script. By the way, if you have to take a break, Alex, and get some water or foot massage, whatever, okay. Before the first table read, I was reading the script, and I said to the other people who were in the team, I go, we have to punch this up before the table read, because, and for those of you watching who haven't heard table read before, the table read is all of the cast sitting, reading the script from beginning to end in real time. It's the only way to see the show from beginning to end in real time, other than watching the actual cut final episode. It's a great way to see an episode, and it really gives you a shot of this is how the show will work or not work. And before the table read, I said to the other writers, I said, we have to punch this up. Like, there's no gray area. In a drama, you could interpret it. In a drama, you could read the drama and be like, I don't know. I felt like that moment really pulled me in. That with a comedy, it's either laughter or no laughter.
Right.
And there's no arguing. Well, they wanted to laugh, but they didn't laugh. No, they just didn't laugh. They didn't laugh.
Almost there. They almost laughed.
And after that table read, which got minimal laughs, and I was sitting reading an actor's part, I was looking out, and there was an angry guy in the audience. I'm
annoying.
There was
17 requests for that.
So. Yeah, you'll have to say it a lot more. I thought you were calling me that, but after this table read, I saw an angry guy looking up at the table read from this audience of people who I didn't know, and it turned out it was the president of ABC was angry because there was no laughs in it, and it was like, oh my gosh, such a terrible thing. So. Getting back to you saying the table reads, the laughter, and this got kicked off by saying when did you lose it in the acting, and your answer was all the time with Brad, which was because
in person, and the table read, at the table read, I was so nervous and I was so focused. Nothing could move me except for what I needed to do. There's a lot of pressure on a table read. I remember I did Brooke Shields had a show years ago, and I was a recurring character on there. And my first table read, I went with full makeup. And I had gotten to know Brooke a little bit. And she said, I remember on the table read, you came with like so much makeup, and you're such a beautiful girl. You don't need to. I said, Brooke, I cannot show up to a table read with no makeup. You can see you can understand what I look like. But I'm going to show up with no makeup, and people are going to think, number one, I don't care. Maybe. Right. Or number two, I think I'm above it all or something. Yeah. So when you come to a table read, you have to be on. Yeah. So level as you can be.
So that's, by the way, for the actors and actresses watching, that's great advice, because you can't hit too much of a home run at the table read, but you can not score at a table read and have them go, we're going to have to replace that Alex girl. We have time. Yeah, we have time. I don't know if she's really the right person. You have to give them zero doubt that they made a mistake, because even on Everest Raymond, there were a couple times when we recast after the table read. And I always felt bad because the people must have been like, I'm going to be on Everest Raymond. And oh, that's great. It's my favorite show. And then a week later, like, when does your episode air? Oh, I quit because they were too demanding, and I will not tolerate such behavior towards actors, But that's and it's true. Brooke Shields, who's let's call her a monumental beauty, right, in the history of models and TV. I mean, she was a phenom. She can show up with her hair up and no makeup because she has the she.
Well, Tom, so could I. The
Of,
point, my point was,
but you shouldn't.
you
By the
probably
way,
shouldn't.
yeah. Well, you.
No, and I remember that because I was like, wow, Brooke Shields just said that to me.
All right. This is just a nuts. I love these nuts and bolts questions.
Okay.
Did you find Brad's height, which is about 6'7", 6'8", a challenge in any way?
Yeah, it was a little weird kissing him because I was like really reaching for his lips. I mean, it was
I mean,
odd.
it's a little bit legitimate question because you're by no means short, but if you know what I mean, like, but
I'm
every
5'8", but he was like a foot taller than me.
I'm short around Brad Garrett. I'm 6'4", and I've never felt short until I sit and talk to. Although it helps your posture because you're always looking up.
But it's the whole package because he talks like this, So it's like the giant thing.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna do a Alex. I saw the episode of Friends with you in it as Joey's sister.
Yes.
Funny episode.
That was a good episode.
Okay. Now, Alex, when we last talked at the very end. You were going to tell me a story that you said was a little bit weird story with your parents and fans. You don't have to tell that story, but
oh yeah.
What we were talking about though is when you're one character. So you've done so many acting roles, but when you're one character on a sitcom and it hits a home run like Stefania did, you get recognized because I think you texted me maybe from Chicago Airport about this guy recognized you. And so do you get that? Because Friends is the same thing. So Everett Raymond, Friends, Seinfeld, these are shows that people watch hundreds and hundreds of times. Right. So even though Stefania was a role that you did many years ago and you're like, okay, now I have this, now I'm doing this, and 40 other things. And like, oh, let's see. For the fans, it's the moment, it's the present. So they're just thinking, I saw her last night, and you're thinking, you saw me last night from 18 years ago, And so do you get any of that recognition from the Friends episode?
From Friends? Sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes, not as much. It's Raymond.
Yeah, because you're in the Friends. The Raymond is just such a specific thing.
It was it's a specific thing. My character was so highlighted.
Right.
The episode, the country, everything. It was so highlighted. In Friends, I was one of. So I don't know. I think we're 6 of Joey's sisters.
Well, yeah. And what's funny is even on Friends as it is, like, Maggie Wheeler obviously was on Everett Raymond and she played Chandler's girlfriend on Friends. And so she's known Chandler. She has that accent. She has that, etc.
Yeah.
On Everett Raymond, we had, and I used to say this to actresses who would talk to me, we don't have outside roles. So Friends has thousands of people from outside roles in Friends. Everett Raymond, we had like 9 people in a 9-year run, and you.
That's true.
Yeah, we had a vacuum cleaner sale. I remember saying to people, I wish I could help you get a line and get your SAG card, but it's not like, hey, you can be the person at the coffee shop who does it. Like, we don't have 99% of the show took place in the living room and kitchen of a house. And so you don't have that opportunity to, to bring in the people. Okay.
True.
More questions.
I played Cookie. I was the motorcycle. My hair was cut short because I had just done Selena, and they cut my hair off and dyed it really black. And I was gaining weight for for Selena. I was originally supposed to play Selena's sister. It didn't work out.
So that would be a good thing for anyone to say. I'm gaining weight for a part. And then they go, well, what's the part? Well, it's not important, but I have to start gaining weight for it. And I'm going to start with this sleeve of cookies. Let's see. Do you have a makeup? What brand makeup does Alex wear? I think that's a question for you because I don't know.
Whenever the makeup artist puts on me. Me personally, I like to wear makeup that hasn't been tested on animals, and creams that have not been tested on animals. So I use La Prairie, which is a fantastic. cosmetic line, and they don't test on animals.
Yeah, so a lot. That's great. That's great. I don't wear makeup, so it's not as
Oh, you don't
interesting to
need
me.
to.
Although,
You
yeah,
don't need to.
thank you, thank you. So a lot of people saying they had no idea you played one of Joey's sisters.
Yeah.
Are you related to Sandra Bullock because you look like her?
I'll take it.
I would take that. Yeah. I see it. I do see that a little bit. There's also a friendly vibe. Also, I fell head over heels for Stefania. Then you. Okay. So that's Terry. Okay, Terry, you're confessing your love for Stefania and Alex in real life. Got it. After listening to Alex, I think Robert might have made the wrong choice. Oh, interesting. Now, by the way, we did. Uh, this is going to sound like a joke, and it's not meant to be. But Amy just was a wholesome, down home person, and Robert, you were way above Robert's. Out of his league. Okay, the character was so whatever. So you were way out of his league, and that played into it. When the first time Amy sees you in the,
I know, she's so funny. Monica is so funny. She's so good.
Yes, that was phenomenal. So that played for great. And for you want Robert to be, you wouldn't like Robert if he had you as a wife unless his life went bad. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't have the terrible sad sack brother who doesn't get anything going his way to marry a beautiful woman and everything works out. That doesn't make for interesting TV. The joke part I was going to say is the wife was married to the creator of the show. So we knew which way that was going to go. And that's completely a joke because
that's not
because well, that's what people say from the outside. But when you see, people are like, well, of course. But Phil wasn't even the one that wanted Monica for the part of Amy initially. Somebody else in the writer's room said, who could play this is Monica. And Phil was like, I get being there when it happened. It was like, Phil wasn't like, okay, my wife is in the show. You got it, everybody? Now write that. It was like, what about her? Like, yeah, I guess that could be. And then, Ray and I really wanted Robert to stay single. And Phil was arguing with us. And I think he was correct, obviously, because he's like, but after how many dating stories can we tell for Robert? And Ray and I would be like,
before you don't like him,
Well, we said, well, Friends has done a pretty good job of telling dating stories. But Phil was like, he's a much more, you want this more wholesome guy to not be playing the field because the playing the field is just sadness for him. It's not like this fun type of thing. So
I don't know. How is it for you, Tom?
So here, Alex, this is called dodging a question. Alex, here's the thing. If people imagine what would have happened if he married Stefania, like what do the fans think would have happened if he married Stefania? Would he have been happy, or would she have?
No, I feel like Stefania was the vacation girlfriend who's great on vacation, and she did turn out to be that way, poking him all the time and being annoying. I think she was a bit of a ball buster. So I think it would have been too much for Robert.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So I'm now scrolling through. Yes, I agree. And of course, we wrote it that way.
Curmudgeon. He likes his way. He likes his thing. He likes his chair. He likes to eat like this. And that's not how it would be if you married a woman from another country. First of all, they probably have to move back to Italy. I don't think Stefania would want to stay there really forever.
Yeah.
But
see, why weren't you in the writer's room when we were sitting there? What would happen if he married Stefania? But I think your okay. So Teresa's husband says you are way above his playing level as far as dating is concerned. Okay, Teresa, if Alex makes it to Tefano's, you have to bring your husband.
I'm gonna be there in a few weeks. I was just in Chicago, and I was thinking about Tefano's because I went down Ashland Avenue because I'll share it on my next time that I'm on the show. But there's something happening in Chicago. But I do want to tell that story about when I was with my parents because it was
okay.
It's funny now. It scared the living crap out of me when it
happened.
Boy,
but tell that story.
Okay, so my parents and I were went downtown to Marshall Fields because well, it was Macy's. It's Macy's now, but it used to be Marshall Fields, which was the big department store on State Street. And so we went down there because my parents wanted to buy a couch or something. I forgot what it was. It was furniture. And I was in town. I was staying with them. Like, hey, let's go down, Mom and Dad. I had my sweats on. I was like, just no makeup,
Casual.
just casual. So we went to the food area, the food mart area in Marshall Fields, and we got some lunch. And this woman comes up to me and she was like, "Oh my God, you're so funny! Oh my God, I love you, so funny! You're so great, and my husband loves you. And could we take a picture?" Yeah, sure, great to meet you. Thank you so much for watching the show and all that kind of stuff. And then she went away. So we had lunch and we started to go to it was like the 5th floor. We're walking around the store and going up the escalators. And I felt a vibe. I felt something weird. We go up the escalators. We get almost to the 5th floor, and I turn around, and it's that lady again. And I was like, "Hi." And she said to me, "You know what? You're actually not that hot." And I said,
Oh my God.
I was like, "No, she doesn't have a gun." And I said, "Well, it's Hollywood, and it's hair and makeup, and it's just for lighting, it's smoke and mirrors. That's what it is." She goes, "Yeah, I don't know what the big deal is about you. I don't know why such a big deal about you." And I was like, "Okay, well, we'll see you later." And I don't know what happened, because I almost fainted because I started getting scared. I was like ushering my parents away from her.
Yeah.
And she just kept walking towards us and talking, and I'm just like,
it was a
woman.
Yeah. And so, and do you think, in your theory, because being friends with a few celebrity females, like, their guard has not crazy has to be up, but when somebody approaches, you don't, 99% of the time it's like, "Oh my God, I loved you. Thank you so much. Would you mind taking a picture? Okay, thank you. Bye." That's 99% of the encounters, but you have to have your guard up. So at that point, are you like, "Okay, let me diffuse the situation. Let me say, yes, I'm pretty homely actually in real life, and they use a lot of lights and stuff."
That's
so
exactly what I did. I mean, I was like, I broke into a cold sweat in those 3 seconds that, she said that, because I thought, well, she followed us this whole time. She followed us all around the store. I mean, this was like 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
And she was right behind me. I was like, "Oh my God, don't kill me."
So here's all the theories. I'm reading some of these theories also, which I would say did her boyfriend fall in love with you in the show, and then she runs into this hideous elephant woman looking person named Alex and runs back to her boyfriend and says, "She's so unbelievably hideous. Yeah, she's a homunculus. She's terrible to even look at. I had to avert my eyes. I had to follow her around the store and pass."
Okay, Tom, I get it. We get it.
Yeah,
we get it.
past the couches to tell her. Yeah. Well, I gotta say that I've never heard a story like that. I've heard the following, and usually you can tell, because I've done it, where you go, "Oh my gosh." And I one time I did this inadvertently, Alex, but when you see someone famous, you're like, "I want to take a picture of them." And yourself, because I'm not famous, but I spend time with Ray, and I would give Ray a warning word when someone's about to approach, and you would see they would spot. I think me shouting "banana" would be a little, yeah.
Little obvious.
Hey, your friend is weird, but most people are innocent and they don't want to bother you, so they try and sneak a photo. You know what I mean? And you want to say to them, just say, "Can I take a photo?" You know what I mean? Within reason. Yeah, I know Paul Newman was apparently really didn't want you to approach him at dinner or any family time. You know what I mean? He wanted his private type of thing. Now, iPhones didn't exist before 2007. So now everyone has and I do feel bad especially when you're an attractive celebrity, like, you have to be like, "Oh wow, I can't be in a bathing suit without worrying that somebody is with a telephoto lens, like, getting me, in a normal, day where I don't have makeup, or maybe I'm shopping for a couch or something like that. Let me see. Well, I'm glad. So that was the only time.
Well, that was the only time that someone confronted me so closely. No, I've had stalkery things, but that was just not good. I mean,
yeah.
But this was it's funny now because it was creepy.
Well, I'll tell you this weird, innocuous story that just a friend's a friend of a friend's husband was telling me, the nicest guy on the planet. And he said his son plays hockey, and he said he saw Wayne Gretzky like passes him in the car, and he started following him. And I said, and what did you think? Again, this guy's the sweetest human being. And I go, what were you going to do? He goes, I don't know. I was just so excited that I started following him. And I'm like, yes. And Wayne Gretzky doesn't know that you're a really sweet guy. He just all of a sudden is like, oh my God, some crazy hockey guy is following me, And so there is by the way, I'll tell you, for Alex, this is the first year of Everest Raymond. I want to segue into something. The first year of Everest Raymond, we're at this big March Madness thing in Indiana, okay?
Uh-huh.
And it's a big premiere, and all the CBS shows are there. And at one point, I'm there. Now, I had been doing stand-up 4 weeks before, and now, I'm on Raymond, and now all of a sudden I'm thrust in with all the CBS stars, okay? And we have to walk down the street from one place. And leading the walk, like right down the center of the street, is Chuck Norris, because he's in Texas, and he's reading, and then I get to, yes, so I want to get to that. This is called a good segue story. So I get to, now at one point we're at the airport, and we're all flying back. So it's me and Ray, Chuck Norris, and his friend who's there. But I can't believe Chuck Norris. Like I'm saying hi to, I'm trying to be cool, but I'm completely ignoring the guy who was with him. And I want to say the guy's name was Howard Jackson, who was a champion karate master. Okay. So in his own right, this guy, and Chuck was very nice. He's like, Tom, this is Howard. Oh, nice to meet you. Because I realize, and you know this too, your parents know this, and anybody who's a friend of yours know this, when you're a civilian and you see a celebrity, you just see that celebrity and you just look at them because you're so excited. And I used to say to Ray, we would do a live show, and afterwards there would be meet and greet. The people, you had to tell the people goodbye because they're so excited, appropriately so. Like they would be there for 7 hours just being like, so Ray, what do you like on hot dog? You know what I mean? It's like a very, very normal human reaction. So, all right, let's answer some of these questions. But I mentioned Walker, Texas Ranger. There's no other show associated with that ever again, right? Or is there?
Well, there is the reboot that's going on right now called Walker.
Where is that?
On the CW. And
okay.
It stars Jared Padalecki and Lindsay Morgan, and I play Lindsay Morgan's mother. Lindsay Morgan is a Texas Ranger, the first Mexican Texas Ranger chick. And I play her mother, who's a psychologist and who does not agree with her choice.
And when does that air?
Thursday nights. What is it? 8/7 Central? Yeah.
Thursday nights.
CW, Texas. Walker, Ranger. Except they only call it Walker. It's not Texas Walker, Ranger, Walker, Texas change.
Okay. So you can catch Alex Meneses on this Wednesday's Walker on the CW. Yeah, and for those of you in Australia and other parts of the country, I don't know how you catch that, but it's definitely worth catching. I'm glad that you brought that up.
It's streaming on something, and I don't know what. Wow. Yeah. Not a good plugger. But this coming Thursday, will be the season finale.
This Thursday, and you're in it, and you are in it.
I'm in it. I'm barely in this one, but I'm in this one. Yeah.
Okay. And how was that working on Walker?
It's wonderful. We shoot it in Austin, Texas. I love Austin, Texas. It's a great crew. It's a great experience. It's easy peasy wheezy fun and lovely.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm scrolling back. Yes. So Leo, who is in Toronto, great question. do you remember the audition process for ELR? I would recommend go back and watch the October one because Alex really gets into detail about that audition process, which was...
It was crazy. It was nerve-wracking. And it was wonderful. And it was hard. It was hard because I was starstruck. You were talking about starstruck. You know, first I had to audition with Brad, and then I had to meet Ray, with Ray in the room. And I was like, and I knew I was down to the wire. And yeah, it was a lot, but it was exciting, very exciting.
So Leo and anybody else, go back and watch from October, Alex's appearance, because it was really a very detailed, long, great story. And since we're going to run out of time today, but that was a great synopsis. And then people asking, of course, what is your favorite episode of Ever's Raymond, whether you were in it or not?
It's the Italy episode.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Italy episode, a lot of people have written that is the episode that convinced them to watch the show. So they just caught that episode because it was a very, you know, it's as Phil says, it's the movie.
It's so funny. It's so fun. And every character has such a great arc in that particular episode. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and actually, I think Phil might have won a Writers Guild Award for that episode, or at least nominated. I know, but I think he won it.
Are they going to do a reboot, or are they going to do something like Friends did, where they're going to talk about?
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I actually saw Phil yesterday, and there was initial talk of CBS doing it. Then there was some cost of a talk of it costing too much, which doesn't really make sense from the outside. Then it was going to. Then potentially there was an interest from Peacock. Now there might be an interest from CBS. So if I were to bet, because the ratings will be through the roof, and it's really good to see, and it doesn't cost that much.
Yeah,
I think
to sit on the stage and talk about stuff.
Yes. So my guess is that it will happen. Now, what Phil did is he was talking in a podcast, and they took what he said, what I just shared with you, that information, and people morphed it into Phil Rosenthal doesn't have any takers for a reboot of the series. Okay.
What?
So yeah. So that was not accurate because he will never do a reboot of the series because you can't do it without Frank and Marie. So let's see. So I'm just for everybody watching, this is Tom Caldabiano. I was a writer on Ever's Raymond for 9 years. We're talking to Alex Meneses, who played Stefania. And
by
we
the
always
way,
have...
I like that idea of everyone talking on the stage because I can kind of come in for a minute and talk about the Italian episode and then leave. You know.
So you can thank me later, Alex. But when they were doing the table read to benefit multiple myeloma, the person who was coordinating it, I said, "Have you reached out to Alex Meneses?" And they said, "No." And I said, "Yeah, no." They didn't say that. I said, it's just that I think she'll score big with little lines because Andy Kindler was on a lot, John Manfrotati was on a lot, Tom McGowan was on a lot. But I know just from doing this, the amount of requests for you, it's such a memorable thing because I want to talk to Andy Kindler, John Manfrotati, and Tom McGowan. But you, I thought, would hit, would score big with a few lines. And so that's how that came about on that table read. So I do actually think, and I think with the Friends reunion, I know Maggie Wheeler, was on it. Like what it is you're watching this show and it feels like old friends and a family friend. So you want to see any of these faces from that past. So you look great in glasses. That's from, I can't read who that's from. What's your favorite episode? The Italy episode. Yes. Was the guest role on the Goldbergs based on Stefania?
The guest spot on the
Goldbergs.
Oh, I don't think so. That was a girl for the father that just the actor that just passed away. Actually,
yes.
Sorry. It was a one-time deal, and it was not.
Yeah. And Lou Schneider is on that show, who was a writer on Ever's Raymond, who will be joining us soon. So I'm just scrolling back to the questions with, there's, by the way, for those watching, because you're used to it, but for people that write really terrible things on here, it goes away because the fans are so supportive. They jump in and start shouting down that person.
Right.
But we take it for what it's worth. You know, this is a good question from Carrie the Ann. Who else was up for that role? Did you know anybody that was up for that role?
I knew all the girls. I knew all the girls that were up for this role. You know, there was at that time there was like the usual suspects. There was about 5 or 6 of us that were going out for most of the roles, and it's sort of dwindled and changed a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, I do all the girls, everyone.
And what? By the way, this is completely news to me.
It was George Siegel. Thank you, Donnell. It was George Siegel.
George Siegel, yes. Sorry, I was distracted reading questions. Yes, Walker is the show. Yes.
Yes,
Jared was on. Yes. Are you going to let her talk? So there's one of those comments that are. You have to take them. Yes. By the way, it's the funniest thing, which is you're doing an interview. So it's like and this I posted something, and then we're gonna have to wrap it up, Alex. I posted a picture of Brad putting Monica on the refrigerator, right? And someone said the funnier moment is Deborah, and I'm like, yes, but that's the Brad moment is the setup to make the Deborah moment funny. So you can't have the Deborah moment score. And so when you are interviewing or talking to somebody, you do have to ask some questions. You are not annoying, and I love hot dogs too. Okay. All right, Alex.
I'm doing an interview. This is what happens when you do Zoom interviews at home.
It sounds like or you could be doing a play. All right, Alex. Yeah. Any closing? We still didn't answer every question, nor will we. That's why you have to come back. Yeah, you have to come back to promote anything. So everybody, look for Alex on Walker. It's on the CW, which is a network. I don't know that you can get it around the world, but someone just said you can get it on Hulu and something else on Amazon, maybe. Okay, I may be making that up. All right, everybody. So let me see. So fun today. Thank you. You do great, Tom. Love this. Yes. Thank you for laughing so many years.
Ci vediamo, Carrie. Ci vediamo presto.
Can you just yell? Can you just get a little bit mad at me or something, Alex?
Oh, that's easy.
On Stefania talk.
That's easy. Oh, do that line. I forgot. I didn't prepare it because I did it last time. Non ti posso credere. No, non ci che posso credere. Non posso credere che sono venuto qua in America solamente per te. Non mi neanche chiamato de tua mamma per pregarmi di venire.
It works.
Allora, cosa sei? La sua marionetta? Le tiri i fili e tu balli come Manocchio?
Great. Love it being called a puppet. By the way, for those, sorry, someone's asking, why didn't Amy and Robert have kids? Because we ran out of time and we didn't want to have kids because it was never about the kids. So for them to have kids would have started up a whole different storyline. Now, had he had a kid with Stefania and then married Amy, now you have an interesting story.
Wow, that's a good story.
Yeah. All right. So until next time, Alex, I will see you. I may see you soon, though. I have a feeling, but I will. Okay. I'll say goodbye. Sorry, everybody. Write your questions. Still sexy when angry. That's for you, Alex. Still sexy when angry. Yes. Still sexy. Yes. Good. All right. That was awesome. All right. All right. Ciao.
My daughter's yelling. Ciao. Thank you, Tom. Love you.
Bye. See you soon. Bye.